Hi guys, I hope you're all doing super well. In this video, I thought we would do a little morning vlog, though it's not morning, it's noon, but I just woke up and I'm gonna have breakfast. So I'm gonna make breakfast and I'm gonna talk a little bit about sort of what's going on in my life right now, because I feel like I haven't done that on this channel in a while, so why not? And then I'm going to talk about this week's topic, which is call-out culture. If you're only interested in seeing the topic, I will put the timestamp in the description and then you can just skip ahead to that. Also, sorry if I don't look like straight into the camera all the time. It's very difficult when I have this huge screen where I can see myself and then that tiny little camera there. So first things first, right? I am currently not working. I've taken a month off because I was literally about to burn out. I just want to say, first of all, that I'm not sad. Like, I don't feel bad. It's just that my brain cannot physically do the things that I needed to do. And it's kind of scary. I am getting professional help and I know what I need to do in order to make it better. But for now, I very much need to de-stress, because stress is the main factor in making my brain not able to function. So yeah, it's not that I am sad and feeling bad and am depressed and stuff like that. It's that I have had so much anxiety that my brain has just overexerted itself and it has stopped functioning. And for reference, I have lived with pretty much constant anxiety since I was 10 years old. So it's about time that this actually happened, and it's about time that I deal with this. I have de-stressed to a point now where I can actually concentrate in a way that I couldn't a month ago, which makes me very hopeful because I start studying soon, and then I need to be able to concentrate because I need to be able to read. But I'm also studying something that I'm very excited about, which is music theory. It's music theory half-time and then a separate course, like in a completely different school, that has to do with the history of religion. I don't really know, to be honest, exactly what it is, but it seems very interesting. I feel hopeful and calm about it. Just as I feel calm about it, I think this is gonna work. So this is the breakfast that I have every single day. It's bananas hidden underneath here, cereal, and peanut butter. It needs to be this one, organic peanut butter crunchy from Green Choice. And then we have raspberry jam. And then I will take some almond milk. And of course we cannot forget the coffee, which I also spilled here. And there's a cat. This thing is broken. Yeah, exactly. That's what it does. So it's a bit of an adventure doing this. And my daily routine currently is I make my breakfast, then I sit down here in this beanbag and I play Dragon Age. It really honestly just de-stresses me and starts my day off right. I have realized that my brain, I'm putting this down, really likes to hyper-focus on things in order to de-stress, to sort of go into a different world. It doesn't need to literally be a different world. Like in Dragon Age, it's basically a different world that someone has built up. But it can just be that I am hyper-focusing on an interest that I've just gotten. Even if it's like something that's not relevant to my life, or that I ever want to physically involve myself in, it can just be something I'm really interested in. My brain likes to hyper-focus on that in order to de-stress. My legal gender has just been changed, which means that my ID number, my social security number has also been changed because they're gendered in Sweden, and I need to make a call about that, and I honestly need to make 1,000 calls about that because I need to call so many different places, and I'm going to make one call today. I have anxiety, but it's going to work out. Now, before I start playing Dragon Age, let's talk a bit about call-out culture, which is this week's topic. I don't super hate or super love and support call-out culture, because I think that there's a good way to call someone out, and I think there's a bad way to call someone out. And I think that the type of calling out that is required in a certain situation very much varies depending on the situation, because someone can say something super hurtful and super, for example, transphobic, and it's obvious that this is not just a mistake. Someone who's like, you know, uneducated and saying something slightly problematic and they don't know that it's problematic because they actually mean well, then I think that you can be a little less merciful. But there are also people who genuinely don't mean any harm and will say things that are problematic, but it's very obvious that they don't mean any harm and that they pretty much don't know better. And that's sort of what I want to focus on. I don't think that that person should never be forgiven. If they realize their mistake and they change their behavior and they apologize. Because people do change. I think everyone has done something problematic of some sort in the past. I don't think that we should have to, make essay-length explanations to people who say problematic things to us, and I don't think that we owe them to be gentle and patient with them. But the reality is that a lot of people, when getting called out aggressively, are going to become defensive. It's just a reaction that a lot of people have. Some people will actually still listen, and they will look up information and they will educate themselves, but a lot of people will get defensive because they will feel personally attacked. I think it's important to know how to call someone out, when to call someone out, and how to react if you are being called out. If you're being called out, I think it's important to try to not get defensive, try to not take anything personally. The person that's angry is probably not angry at you as a person, they're probably angry at this phenomenon. And you're probably not the first person who said something like this that has really hurt them. That's important to keep in mind. But I think it's also important to know how to sort of call someone out. There's no one way to do it, because every situation is so different. And I don't think that this is the way to do it for every situation. But sometimes it's best to just be a bit more gentle. Try to assume the best of the person. Try to be like, hey, I know you probably didn't mean any harm by this, but this is problematic or hurtful or rude. This is the reason why. This is how it makes people feel. Like, for example, if someone says something transphobic, I will try to explain to them how it makes me and a lot of other trans people feel using emotions, because people can understand that. So if I say, this makes me uncomfortable, this makes me feel objectified, this makes me sad, this makes me feel hopeless, people can sort of relate to that emotion. And a lot of people don't want to cause that emotion in other people, and if they do, they're a shithead, and you don't need to have a discussion with them. A lot of the time it helps if you can be a bit more gentle and explain to them what is problematic, why, how it makes you feel, and I think this is so important, provide an alternative. If someone has said something in a certain way, provide an alternative that is not hurtful or problematic. Providing alternatives provides people with a very easy solution, and I think that that helps. Because what we want, ultimately, when we call someone out, is not for people to apologize and say that you are right and send you on some kind of power trip. It's for people to change their behavior so that the world will be a safer place and a more comfortable place for people who are otherwise, maybe hurt by problematic things that are said, or certain words that are used, or whatever it is, The point is not that we want as personal individuals to be right. If you just want to be right, and you just want to go on some kind of power trip because of that, you shouldn't call people out. You should do it because you want actual change, because you are willing to communicate with people in order to tell them why their actions are problematic and what they can do instead. Now, if the person is like super hateful, whatever, as I said, sometimes you can't reason with them. Sometimes there's no point. Sometimes you just need to call them out and be like, hey, this person's a shitty person, and this is the reason why, and until they apologize and actively change their behavior, don't interact with them. I think that knowing how to call people out, and daring to call people out, and knowing what to do when you are being called out, I think those things are very much necessary, because calling out people who say problematic things, tell a problematic joke, whatever, can really help. Because it can change people's behavior and it can make them spread that message in the future. But I think that a lot of the time it also does a lot of damage. People are being really hateful towards minors online because they're calling them out. People are not allowing people to learn and to have a discussion in the name of calling people out. I feel like sometimes the purpose is more to have a power trip, it's more to come together with your friends and point at and laugh at someone who just doesn't know why their actions are problematic. Even if they very much are. I'm not trying to defend someone who does something problematic, I'm just trying to say, we've all done problematic things. And the reason we stop is because we learned why that was problematic, and we learned what to do instead. And that is what we need to convey to people. Not that they are bad people as individuals, and not that they never deserve to be forgiven, but rather that, hey, we're here to help each other out, be as good as we can be. That's what I think calling someone out should be about. Okay, I'm gonna stop now because I literally can't form thoughts anymore. Now that that's done, let's play some Dragon Age. before I go, I thought I would ask you guys sort of what you want to see more of on this channel. Like, do you want to get to know us more as people and what we do in our daily lives, or would you like us to maybe revisit some older topics again, or do you want more non-trans related topics? Write a comment, let us know, because we do try to tailor our topics according to what you guys want to see, but it's hard to please everyone, first of all, but it's also hard for us to sort of intuitively know what you guys want to see. So let us know and we'd be super grateful. Alright, take care and I'll see you next time. Love you. Bye.